Here I am on my felt AR5. I'm cruising along an absolutely gorgeous, amazingly smooth stretch of road. Gentle rolling terrain, some wonderful short little power climbs, some good little swooping descents. Today I'm going to be talking about A Spectacle of Insanity, an article I wrote for Dissident Mag. If you built a time machine and went back in history as recently as 2010, explaining the prospect of being fired from your job for saying all lives matter would have seemed utterly preposterous to the quaint citizens of that bygone era. Taken purely at face value, a statement affirming the positive worth of all human lives is just about the most inoffensive comment possible to normal minds. But here in 2020 we know better, because various institutional powers have insisted that we learn a schizophrenic contextualization of the statement that renders it into a proclamation of white supremacy. When one considers the consequences for your personal employment, there really is no difference between saying all lives matter and all N-words must hang. Future Chinese historians will look upon this peculiar American collective hysteria and ponder just how a civilization not under the influence of Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution could have ever reached such lunacy. At the same time, the general public is expected to wear surgical masks of questionable efficacy and practice social distancing to slow the spread of a dangerous contagion. The mass media complex attempts to simultaneously declare that racism is an even bigger public health issue and that one is obligated to march in support of Black Lives Matter. Yet again, we are confronted with a contradictory and schizoid set of overly contextualized premises. A botched, ineffectual response to a pandemic with an abundance of performative security theater mandates and a mass spasm of social agitation over an injustice that doesn't even exist. Nearly every corporation on Earth reflexively issued Black Lives Matter copy pastas, just like Havel's greengrocer instinctively plopping down a Socialist Workers the World Unite sign in front of his vegetable stand. Everyone is being held hostage mentally. The final example lays bare how the totalitarian ideological class truly does rule an upside-down world in the exact manner described by Guy Debord. In polite society, one must never speak of how much power Jewish people exert over institutions, particularly the media. As Nick Cannon recently discovered, trafficking in anti-Semitic conspiracies means a real Semitic conspiracy will immediately get you fired from your job and forced to apologize. Even Charlemagne the God's wry observation, if there's one thing Jewish people have showed us, it's they have the power, was not particularly well received by an organization of actual Jewish power, and Jonathan Greenblatt himself delivered a not-so-coded remark about Charlemagne needing to learn from Nick Cannon's mistake. What we have here is a vast institutional power that exercises this power to silence acknowledgments of its own existence. That itself is a fundamentally contradictory state of affairs that introduces a persistent level of madness and falsehood to the whole social order. As if argued elsewhere, this is an age in which individuals develop an implicit understanding of the world that is predicated on assumptions programmed into you on a subliminal level. You are not supposed to investigate the explicit power relations or conceptualize the ruling order itself as a distinct class of people. No vast Aryan conspiracy could ever get Nick Cannon fired for his comments about white people, but for disparaging Jews, he instantly loses a television spot and is forced to apologize. You are encouraged to believe in the non-existent white conspiracy with no actual power and utterly forbidden from noticing organized Jewish control. Think of this as a trickle-down effect. If the elites of this mass media-centered world secure their power in a total lie about its own non-existence, then it follows that everything else brought into mainstream social consciousness will be based on an invisible force capable of totally disregarding actual reality. They've already vaulted over the most difficult hurdle, so now they're free to literally make you believe whatever they want, no matter how contradictory, insane, or maddening it may be. If you can't even acknowledge who holds power, then you certainly can't defeat the disseminated propaganda of that power. The ruling totalitarian ideological class is the ruler of a world turned upside down. The more power of the class, the more it claims not to exist, and its power is employed above all to enforce this claim. It is modest only on this one point, however, because this officially non-existent bureaucracy simultaneously attributes the crowning achievements of its history to its own infallible leadership. Though its existence is everywhere in evidence, the bureaucracy must be invisible as a class. As a result, all social life becomes insane. The social organization of total falsehood stems from this fundamental contradiction. Guy DeBeau.